Hyperion has been thrilling riders at Energylandia since July 2018, and it's an absolutely massive roller coaster. Despite being only classified as a hypercoaster, it still ranks in the top 10 largest drops of any operating coaster worldwide. It's got the largest lift hill in Europe, standing at 253 feet, but its drop is 269 feet, just 31 feet shy of being classified a gigacoaster. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how big this coaster is, so let's start out this review with a look at the ride's layout. The ride starts with a speedy chain lift that rapidly takes you to the top of the lift hill and sends you plunging into that 269-foot drop at a near vertical angle of 85 degrees. The bottom of the drop takes you briefly underground and into a tunnel where you reach the ride's top speed of over 88 miles per hour. You then sail upwards into a massive ejector airtime hill that provides powerful sustained negative G-force until you dive back down to earth and pull up into the ride's only inversion, a twisting dive drop similar to what you'll find on a lot of B&M wing coasters. Next is a high-speed overbank that flows into a speed hump before you're propelled into a long parabolic floater airtime hill. After that is what Intamin call a panoramic wave turn that leads into a rapid sequence of elements as the ride's finale. It starts with a high-speed bump that leads into a low-to-the-ground Stengel dive before you're spun around in a tight bank turn that flows into a set of double S-curves, and then there's one final ejector airtime hill into a water splashdown before you pull up and into the brakes. As you can probably tell from that description, its pacing is pretty relentless, and that makes it a wonderful ride. One thing I think Hyperion does particularly brilliantly is maintaining its speed and energy, as there really isn't a dull moment and it feels fast from start to finish. The pacing is simply amazing, and the selection of elements makes it feel almost like you're getting the greatest hits of all of Intamin's other different coasters. You've got a drop that's nearly as large as Intimidator 305 and Millennium Force, and just as steep, a first ejector airtime hill like you get in Expedition G-Force, the low Stengel dive from Skyrush, the high-speed turns and twists from Intimidator 305 and Maverick, and some overbanks that could feature on any one of those coasters. It's such a wonderful combination of elements and pacing, it adds up to one absolutely phenomenal coaster. The first drop on Hyperion is a real highlight and gives you all the airtime you expect and a lot more. It's a huge drop and I can't overstate just how close this is to being a gigacoaster. In the back middle seats especially, with a slightly raised position, you've seriously got one of the best drops in the entire world, and right after that is one of the largest and best ejector airtime hills in the world. If you like strong ejector air, you'll love it here, as it gives a good 5 or 6 seconds of that wonderful ejector airtime feeling. The inversion that follows feels snappy, and you get a great speed rush when the train gets close to the ground for the next few elements that follow. Now during opening season, I did find that the floater airtime hill didn't seem to be delivering in quite the way it should, but on more recent visits it seems to have matured and the trains hold enough speed over it now to give the intended zero-G weightless feeling as you float out of your seat. The final section of the ride feels blisteringly fast as it's so close to the ground, and the track is making all these tight twisty manoeuvres. It's forceful in all the right ways, and the only place you'll catch your breath is on the brake run after the splashdown. Now that splashdown is a nice visual feature, but it does actually get you a bit wet when you ride, which may or may not be a good thing depending on how warm a day it is when you visit. My favourite place to ride is probably in the back middle seats, as the first drop in the back is completely breathtaking, and I found that on at least one of the trains the edge seats can have a bit of a rattle towards the back, unlike the rock-solid middle ones. The rattle isn't enough to detract much from the ride, but if you're wanting the best experience possible, then you'll probably want to stick to the middle. Those two seats are also slightly higher up as well, which means you go that little bit faster over each hill, and the airtime is a little bit stronger as a result. That's not to say that edge seats aren't fun though, and you benefit from some snappier twists in the inversion, and are placed much closer to the ground during some of the turns. A front seat ride is also amazing, and it's the best way to experience the sheer speed that Hyperion has, but you'll end up queuing a lot less to experience the back row, but in all honesty it's impossible to have a bad ride regardless of what seat you're in. Night rides on Hyperion are also fantastic. The lift hill has a few lights, but apart from that, the ride is mostly in darkness, and it feels unbelievably fast as you tear along the track in the dark. It's a really satisfying ride as well, and the length is pretty much perfect, being over 1,000 feet longer than Skyrush and having a longer ride time as a result. There's only really one thing I dislike about Hyperion, and that's the queue line. It has some nice lighting and futuristic theming with plenty of TV screens to tell the ride's story, but it's just so long and requires you to walk all the way to the top of a large building before you take steps all the way back down to the bottom again. If I had a few shortcuts it would be fine, but there aren't any and you have to walk the full length of the queue every single time, even if there's no one else waiting to ride. You probably have to walk at least a quarter of a mile between each ride on the coaster, and half of that distance is going uphill. If there were a couple of shortcuts it would be much faster to get around and ride again, but sadly, it's a long walk every time you want to ride. The effort involved is of course worth it, but I'd love to just be able to sit on this coaster and go round and round multiple times. Hyperion marked a big change in direction for Energylandia, as up until then they had a couple of decent rides, but a lot of their coasters were very much filler, and the theming in the park was all over the place. Starting with Hyperion, that changed however, as it got a good sci-fi looking station and queue line, a themed story on TV screens, and a ride that was completely unique and not just an off-the-shelf model. Following on from Hyperion, the park has continued to excel with the addition of Zadra, an RMC hybrid coaster in a beautifully themed dragon area, and this year it's set to open a massive Vekoma launch coaster called Abyssus in an Atlantis-themed section of the park. Not stopping there though, the park has also recently finished construction of a huge mine train coaster with 3 lift hills, so its expansion and commitment to building good new rides in well-themed areas seems set to continue. Overall, Hyperion is a magnificent roller coaster and one of the best rides ever made by Intamin. It's a truly world-class coaster, and I'd even go as far as to say it's my favourite hypercoaster and quite possibly my favourite ride in Europe. It really is that good. If you're a fan of Intamin's large coasters like Skyrush, Intimidator 305 or Millennium Force, then you'll almost certainly love Hyperion and everything it has to offer. Let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this video and if there's any other coasters you'd like me to review, and stay tuned for more content from me in the near future. I've been Rollercoaster David, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video very soon.